Okay, well, we all want to look our best, right? We always want to look the closest thing to perfect. But how much is too much? Well, I am going to talk to you about plastic surgery. Plastic surgeries aren't for the rich and famous anymore. People are willing to do whatever it takes to make them look the closest thing to perfect. Today I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about history, the risks, and what a black market hospital is. Well, it all started in 800 BC, India. But the first actually plastic surgery was a cleft palate in America. It was in 1831 by a doctor named Dr. John Peter Latour during the 19th century. He would actually create his own instruments to do the procedures. During World War I, it was a turning point for plastic surgery because new weapons were built, so new wounds for the soldiers, so there had to be new procedures thought of. And in 1931, the American Society for Reconstructive Surgeons was found. And I think it was during the 1960s and the 1970s where in America, like, it was now more of a trend to get plastic surgery instead of like a necessity. But then there was also a lot of risk because of they wouldn't clean the instruments, they wouldn't they would overdose the anesthesia. But nowadays there are still risks. The author Trina Rose states that the risks of a plastic surgery are the leakage or hardening of the implant, reactions to the medicine or anesthesia, slippage of implants, drooping, disproportion, extensive scarring, and possibly disfigurement, too much skin removed, nerve, tissue, muscle, or organ damage, and even death. Actually, I have a story. I have a close relative of mine who got a breast augmentation. We went and I actually accompanied her, and we went and she got breast augmentation, and after the procedure was done, everything was fine, but she had an allergic reaction to the medicine, so we had to rush her to the ER. And I have another close relative who had a nose job done. Instead of being perfect, it came out ugly. It was crooked, there was a really big bump, so it was worse than what she came out. She looked worse when she came out before the procedure. There are 11.7 million cosmetic surgeries were performed in 2007, and 33% of them failed. This is according to the American Society of Anesthetic Plastic Surgery. Now I'm going to talk to you about what a black market is. Does anyone know what a black market hospital is? A black market hospital is a place where you go and you pay less, but it's actually unlicensed doctors. They don't clean their instruments, they don't care, they'll do whatever it takes. There are actually some in America where they put their place for 3 months or 6 months the most, and they'll have a doctor license, and they'll do the procedures, you'll pay less, and later on you won't, they're off the map, if they never even existed. And there's actually, it's considered black market, there are at-do home kits. There's people who inject silicone on their lips, do Botox, just to pay a few bucks less when they look ugly and retarded. Well, according to plastic surgeon Dr. Hoffman, women injecting their own lips with silicone they purchase online as means to save money. Not surprisingly, these women suffered facial disfigurement. There was actually a picture I saw when I was doing my research that a lady who she did her lips became really retarded, it looked like that. And there was a video where a girl did Botox and she got a tick. A tick on her eye. She would go like that, and her lips would move she would be sitting down, someone would be talking, and or she would start mimic them, or she would just be moving her lips. And And actually, I was watching the Tyra Banks show when I was doing the research, and there was a girl who went all the way to Panama to get her eye color changed, like into, I think it was blue or green, I'm not sure, and I think she's very sensitive to the light, and she can't see clearly. She needs to get a surgery, but like that costs a lot of money. And there was actually another girl who did a hair removal on her armpits, and she can't put her hands down because they like burned her so much that like she can't put her hands down. And it's like little things like that that you need to pay attention. You can actually call the there is a website you can go to, and it will inform you. You get the doctor's license number, and it'll tell you if he is really licensed, or you can call to see if because you can never trust the website. They can lie and be like that. So in conclusion, today I talked about the history of what plastic surgery, the risks that they are, and what a black market hospital. So next time, if you want to think about like really looking perfect, I think we should all be grateful for what we have and thank God. Thank you.
Jason, what did you think?
I think she had I liked her clear voice. I could understand what she was saying. She stumbled a little bit on the intro, but her eye contact, besides when she was reading her facts, was on us. I liked hearing the history about how it started in India. I liked the personal stories of her friends who had the augmentation of their nose job, and that kind of made it more personal. Shocking to hear about the failure, how many failures, the information about the failures and the black market. I had no idea. It's very informative for me. I wasn't sure. She said she mentioned a website, but she didn't say which website it was. But besides that,
okay. Well, one point she's talking about a website that you can go to for the information, but then another point you're talking about now you can't trust any of the damn websites. So that's a little inconsistent. I think you want to, be able to tell us how to address a particular problem. I kind of like the opening, except for the fact that there's no thesis here. I know what the topic is, but I don't know what you're going to be saying about it. You did have an organizational structure, but it all sounds informative in nature. Now, when you get into the speech, it does seem like you are talking about a problem and that you're kind of warning us off about it and suggesting either that we avoid plastic surgery altogether, or that we check into the plastic surgery provider that we're about to give money to and put our faces or our bodies in their hands. And I think that needs a little bit more development. Organizationally, like I said, you did good signposting on most of the points, so it's not hard to follow structurally, but internally on some of those points it was a little confusing. Like on the historical section, I went from something happening years ago in India to something happening years ago in the United States, and I'm not sure where the transition took place. And then I was in 1930s U.S., and the next thing I knew I was in the 60s, and they're still using dirty instruments to do this. And then today we've got, I guess the point that you're trying to make is that these black market hospitals are using antiquated procedures that are similar to what was being done in the 1930s and 1960s or in India. I guess that's kind of the buildup that's going on here. I think we need to know a little bit more about the relationship between those kinds of places and the failure rate. You had a nice statistic that said 33% of all surgeries fail, And it's not clear to me what the source of the failure is. Sometimes maybe people are just asking for too much, or maybe it's not possible to do something. Sometimes maybe it's the incompetent surgeon, or they don't have the appropriate materials. I don't know. Is there any way of telling how much of those surgeries that fail are due to people getting inadequate care from their providers, or using these black market type hospitals or tools, for instance?